So I got a call from a student a couple days ago, and they had a great question for me that I couldn't quite answer in the way they were hoping I would answer it anyways. They said, we took off, we're climbing up, and our cylinder head temp started to get really hot. What do you think that is? And that's like taking your car to a mechanic saying, hey, it's making a squeak. What do you think that squeak is? You know, it could be a number of things, a huge number of things. So while I couldn't answer that, I asked them to go pull their data cards, and they didn't know how to do it. So I'm guessing there's more people who don't know how to pull their data cards. Let's go hop in the plane. I want to show you how to do it. So we're here in the plane, and this is a Perspective Plus series. What I'm going to show you works just as well on a Perspective plane also. So on the MFD, we want to pull out the top SD card. If you don't have one in here, you need to get one. It doesn't have to be anything special. We just have a plain 16 gig SD card. So when this is plugged in, it stores all your flight and engine data. All right, our next step, I took that SD card and put it into this adapter. They'll plug into a USB-C, and that goes into a iPad Pro. You can also get the similar thing for a normal iPad, just whatever works for you. So once we're in here, let's pull up our files. And I want to look for no name here. That's what we're looking for. So if you click on data log, this is every flight that has ever happened in this plane. Select all. Down at the bottom, I want to go down to move. And I want to send that to iCloud Drive. And in iCloud Drive, I have a Cirrus data log page. And we're just going to click copy. Then I like to take this home, load it on the computer. The next steps you can do on the iPad too, but I think the computer just makes life easier. Now that we have all that data uploaded onto iCloud Drive, and again, this works great. If you got a Mac, sorry if you got a PC, I can't help you a whole lot there. What I like to do is go into Finder, and again, you can do this from the iPad. I think the computer is a little bit easier, but the iPad's nice and convenient in the plane because you already got it there. So I'll go in here, go to Cirrus Data Logs, and this is everything that we have uploaded. So the next step is to go to the Savvy Aviation website. That's savvyaviation.com. And we'll log in here. I want to select my airplane and upload flights. From here, you can upload a single flight if you want, or you can select as many flights as you want and upload. That's not going to work for me. There you go. So you could upload multiple flights if you want to as well. Just whatever makes sense for you and what you're doing. So next thing we want to do is look at some of this data. And let's start to scratch the surface on how to read this. And truly, we're just scratching the surface. So if you have a particular flight you want to review, go ahead and pick that flight. We also have this neat feature called alerts. And I have this set for a 400-degree cylinder head temp alert. So anytime a flight has a cylinder head temp that exceeds 400 degrees, we get a notification on here. So let's take a look at this flight. And since I care about cylinder head temps, my first question is going to be, what can make cylinder head temperatures high? Well, first off, I want to display cylinder head temps so I have my reference. I have my exhaust gas temperatures here. It kind of gives me an idea of fuel flow. I have my fuel flow here, so I can use those two together to kind of figure out what our fuel flow situation is through the engine. And the other big key on cylinder head temps is indicated airspeed. So we have all these different factors that are going to maybe help us determine a little bit what's going on. So let's look at this section right here. You just click and drag. And we have our 4 cylinder heads, or CHTs. This is a SR20 with a Lycoming engine, so cylinders 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it looks like right about here we have CHT3 exceeds 400 degrees. Now the question is, what caused that? And sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's not. I'm going to say this is not really one of the most clear times, but let's figure out what's going on here. So looking at my indicator airspeed, we're kind of fluctuating around 130 or so. We shoot up to 142 and then decrease to 113 or thereabouts, and then looks like we increase speed again. I'm going to guess that this was probably a climb. So let's test my thoughts and see what's going on. We'll put altitude indicated, or indicated altitude in here. And it looks like we went from 6,000 feet down to 5,500 feet and then climbed back up. So it looks like that climb back up is what pushed our cylinder head temps over that 400-degree threshold. So we'll go back to fuel flow and indicated airspeed here just to see what's going on. So it appears when someone was climbing, the fuel flow actually decreased for some reason. Why did fuel flow decrease as someone was climbing? Well, it could be a number of reasons. Let's take a look at, let's display over here, RPM. Okay, so someone's cruising along at 2,500 RPM. That RPM shoots up through the descent and then comes right back down to about 2,500. That tells me someone probably never increased the power lever as they were going back up these 500 feet. That could explain why fuel flow never increased. Hard to say. I wasn't there, and I'm not enough of an expert of this data to figure out exactly what was going on. But I suspect through this climb, someone did not increase the fuel flow, and that's what caused the high cylinder head temps. Now again, this is just one tiny bit of information here. You can dig a little bit deeper, maybe figure out what's going on. Of course, if you were flying and it's recent and fresh in your memory, you might be able to pick things out here. If you can't figure out what's going on, your next step is going to be to sign up for the Savvy analysis and let the experts look through this data and figure out what's going on. So for a little bit of money, you can gain a whole lot of experience, or essentially purchase experience from the pros and have them tell you what's going on. And maybe there's something that you're just not seeing, maybe something you could do better. The value that they can give you is pretty incredible. So definitely take advantage of that. If you're looking for one particular mechanic you want to work with, I got my recommendation, Paul New, Tennessee Aircraft Services. Definitely reach out to him if you want to send your data to one person who you know is going to be able to look at it and tell you exactly what's going on. He also works with Savvy, so you could send it to them, and there's a decent chance he might be the person looking at it anyways. So that's the data. That's how we can use it to kind of look at one aspect of the engine. Now, of course, there's a tremendous amount of data that gets pulled into this card. You can look at any one of these things. So if any type of gremlin you're trying to hunt down, or maybe it's just how did I fly an approach, and how well did I manage my altitude, and that sort of thing. This is even more precise than, let's say, ForeFlight would be with their replay features. So you could kind of overlay this on top of ForeFlight. Of course, it's going to be two separate screens, but you could kind of piece these things together and just gain a lot of useful information out of this. Hope you find that helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing. If you want to like the video, I would certainly appreciate that. And come back for more.